Arms was such a cool game, man. Like, it was so unique for its time when it came out. It did a lot of new things all at once. Like, I've never seen a fighting game that was third person. I've never seen a fighting game, obviously, with stretchy arms and stuff, but it was a breath of fresh air. It was something new. I'm a little disappointed that the game isn't, like, still talked about by many people, and it had its own moment to be a slight phenomenon. Like, it was all over the place. But, like, after, like, that first 2 weeks, like, that, it was gone. No more Arms for streamers and content creators. I just didn't see it anywhere, which is a shame, because I put a lot of hours into this game, and I was hoping it would be, you know, it would have like a bigger competitive scene, because it is a fighting game and fighters tend to be some of the most competitive scenes, along with first-person shooters and sometimes strategy games. But I'm not gonna sit here and say that just because I think the game is underrated, that it didn't really, like, deserve it. It's underrated because it did something new, and I think it's still very, very playable. But if you are gonna make a game that's in a genre that is typically very competitive, the controls got to be a little bit more fluid, you know. A lot of people don't like motion controls, as far as I know. Like, it's fun. Like, everybody loved Wii Sports Boxing when that came out. I'm not gonna sit here and think like people were looking up grand finals for Wii Sports Boxing tournaments or something. But yeah, I'm talking from my own personal experience. I only like to play with the controller, like just regular, no motion controls. And what that does is that basically it leaves you kind of open for more. It kind of puts you in a disadvantage to not use motion controls, because you can't curve your arms. I mean, you could, but you have to basically stop moving. You got to move your character at the same time to curve your arms, and it's kind of dumb, because if you're fighting somebody for real, like in a competitive setting, your opponent will basically be able to tell where your fist is going just by looking at your they could just focus on you the entire time if they know you're playing without motion controls. Even then, the input is not all that accurate. It's pretty good for what the Switch controller is and for the type of game that this is, but it's just not something that I feel like people feel confident. It's kind of like a random element. I think that's what kills a lot of competitive games. Look at Pokemon, right? Pokemon's not a fighting game, it's a strategy game, turn-based. But the problem with that game right now that a lot of people aren't liking is just, at least competitively, is just the random crits and status procs and, you know, all the hacks that people get. And it's not unfair, because it's Pokemon. Everybody knows that it's Pokemon, and it's kind of our fault for trying to make that game competitive. But it's a random element, and it can dictate a game. Like, if you paralyze somebody and they're paralyzed 3 turns in a row, you can really shut them down. That's a really big advantage. It's the same thing in this game. If you keep on missing your hooks, or your arms aren't going straight when you intend them to, or, you know, other funky stuff like that, how can you, like, really expect to have fun in this game when you get your ass beat due to just random little things like that? I think games like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat they're definitely not the easiest, like, to get the inputs off as well, but they've gotten easier over the years, and they're also well established fighting games. They were, like, not the first, but close to the first of their kind back in the day, so they've made a name for themselves, and people are willing to go through the rigorous training that you need to, like, get your inputs accurate. But yeah, if I were to fix one thing about Arms, it would definitely just be either just let you map the keys to, like, map the controls to your controller the way that you want to, or just make one way to play. I mean, that's totally counterintuitive though, because that's the point of the Switch, is to play as comfortably as you like, whether you want to play on your TV and use a Pro controller, or the little controller dongle thing that it comes with, or you want to play the Joy-Cons loose, whatever. Like, the point is for you to play the way you want to, but it's just not there in terms of equity with the controls, you know. Everything else about this game was brilliant. Like, I feel like the character designs were super unique. They did what they look like they would do, and they all played completely differently. Like, yes, Arms has, every fighting game has fundamentals, right? Like, every character fights the same technically, but in Arms, like, they really put a lot of careful detail into how each character plays, and you really won't find 2 characters that play exactly the same. Like, they did a phenomenal job. If every fighting game could do that, I'd be extremely impressed. What's the point of this video? I guess I want them to make ARMS 2 or update this game or something, but I don't think updating it will bring it back to life. I just want to talk about ARMS so that the possibility of it blowing up in the future, not that I have that power, but hopefully it's something that can happen and people can bring it back, because I still play this game every once in a while, not religiously like I did, but every time I get back into ARMS, it's always a good time, like always. But you know, if ARMS disappears and is never spoken about again, never worked on again, whatever, I guess. You know, tell me what you guys think. Do you miss ARMS? Do you feel like it was shit? Do you think it was like greatest game ever made? Just talk to me in the comments. All right, thanks for listening this far into the video. Do me a favor and subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on those notifications, like the video if you liked it, and tell me what you thought in the comments, again, for the 50th time. Love you guys. Peace.